Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah.
I've been wanting to do this video for a few months now, and it's something that's been on my mind for a few years. I'm talking about like 13 years, maybe over 13 years now. It's about a job that I actually turned down. And it bothered me for years. It's been really bothering me for years. Every now and then it'll pop up in my head. I start thinking about it because I feel bad about turning it down. And the way I am, I know I feel bad about things I've said in the past to people, things I've done, could have done. But this in particular, I feel bad about something that I could have had. And something I turned down. Not because it could have been a better job for me or could have been making more money. It's the fact that I feel bad about turning the job down. And I feel real bad about it. And this is going to probably stick with me for the rest of my life because it just, every time I just think about it, it stays with me for a few days. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing this video right now. But anyway, I'm gonna take you back. I worked at a job for a few years, quite a long time. Got laid off. And got unemployment. Unemployment won't pay it much, but I made it through. So with unemployment, had to look for jobs. So I was using the computer more. So that's when I first started using the computer. And this one man had contacted me from the temp service, and I went in, took a little test. I ain't gonna say a little test because to me it was hard. But anyway, took a little test. Because it was hard because actually I wasn't qualified for the job. But what happened was he actually had me to mark a few answers off, change a few answers so I can get through the door, which I didn't want to get a job like that. If I wasn't qualified, I wasn't qualified. I didn't want it. But anyway, he had me change a few answers and just so I can pass the test and get the job, which I wasn't qualified for the job. You know, I didn't even know what the job was about until I got in there. And it was crazy because when I went in there, after a few short days, I started hearing because people actually started telling me stuff. And one guy actually told me, if I get that position, he's going to be mad. He's going to be mad. So it's one of those things. So it was basically getting somebody outside of the job to fill that position rather than getting somebody that worked there. So it was pretty much like I had to learn a trade. It was like a trade. And they were going to send me to class. And later on, he ended up telling me if I don't pass that test, then they're going to get rid of me. So it's like, oh, this kind of pressure. I'm not even qualified for this job. So it's one of those type things. But mostly I was doing is cleaning the floor. So I was pretty much doing another job while I was there. Even though they paid good. They paid pretty good. But I know it was that much pressure I knew I had coming. And I'm going to get to the other part of the job first. Later. But what happened was by me working there through the temp service, I knew this not place I wanted to be because it was just too much pressure. I know if I didn't pass the test, they were going to get rid of me. And I'm like, I'd rather do what they doing. Yeah, I was working that job, man. I knew I just was getting bad vibes. I had at least 3 guys say something to me about that position. One guy in particular, he was like, if you get that job, he gonna be mad. That's what he said. He gonna be mad. And I knew that wasn't for me. So once I started getting bad vibes, I went back up to the other job that I actually turned down. Went up there, knocked on the door, and talked to the man, which I knew the job was already taken because he had already told me, that day when I turned it down, he already said, he had already interviewed somebody else, so I assume he gave the job to her. But anyway, I went back up there. It's like a desperate attempt. I just felt bad about it. Like, man, it was like, man, I just felt, it was just a feeling I got. Like, man, I just felt desperate. It's like, even though the man had already hired me, but I turned it down. But I went up there and I actually gave him my daggone resume. That's how desperate I was. I'm like, man, I don't know. I can't remember what I said, but it was like, I wanted that job back. Like, dang, I felt terrible about it. And even to this day, it's been like about 13 years, It's just been bothering me. And it's going to probably bother me for the rest of my life. And not because I probably could have been making more money or the job could have been better. It's just the fact that I turned it down. That what really bothers me. And the man, that interviewed me, he was real cool. Seemed like a real cool guy, Just felt like I just, disappointed him. He probably told the people that work there, like in the office or whatever, that, hey, I got somebody that's starting tomorrow. And then he had to go back and tell him that he said he didn't want it. So it just something that really been sticking in my mind for years, Like I said, like 13 years. Ever since it happened. Sometimes it pop up in my mind and stay with me for a few days, and then I forget about it, and it comes back around again. I start thinking about this, like I think about a lot of stuff that I said, that I done, that I shouldn't have done. That's just how I am. I just think about certain things, But anyway, worked at this place, and then once I told him I wanted to learn to drive the forklift, and that's when same day they got rid of me. And the crazy thing too, because they got rid of me, and like a few short months later, I want to say no more than about 3 months later, they ended up closing. They closed down. So and that's another thing too. Like, dang, they closed down. Even if they wouldn't have fired me, they closed. So. But anyway, I got the job that I'm at now. I've been there for a few years, almost 13 years, and I was able to meet some good people. Not all of them good, but I think about if I had worked this other job, there's a couple of people that I'm real close with that I actually be with that worked at the job. That had I worked at the other place, I probably would have never met them. So I look at that as a good thing because I met some cool people. But like I said, that temp service really messed me up, because I'm looking at the money. This job paid good, and it's like, hey, it started off good, and I can make 50 cents more if I pass this test. That was later before I even found out all that. I just looked at how much they were starting off compared to the other job. And so that's what I don't want to do anymore. Like, just because the job pays more, that don't mean it's better. And sometimes when they pay more, they expect more. So I'd rather take less pay and be less stressful and don't have to worry about certain things than to make more and to have so much pressure on me. So I didn't want to fool with that job doing the temp service because, like you said, if I don't pass that test, they're going to get rid of me. Yeah, that job was dealing with maintenance. I don't know nothing about no maintenance. That was just too much for me, you know. Like I said, I wasn't even qualified for it. And the way the man got me through the door, you know what I'm saying, changing answers and stuff, you know what I'm saying, I didn't want to get it. No, I didn't want to have to deal with that. Nah, I didn't want to cheat my way through the door. And like I said, I wasn't even qualified for it. You know, it wasn't like I was doing maintenance before and then didn't pass the test for whatever reason. But no, but anyway, it just another thing that bothers me because the other job that I turned down, the man that interviewed me and gave me the job, I never even told him about the other job that I was working. So that's the kind of thing that bothered me now because I was trying not to tell him about it. Didn't want to let him know that I was working another job because I actually thought I was going to end up taking that job. But just looking at the money, saying, well, this job pays more, you know, so I'm just going to stay here. But that was before I knew I had to do all this other stuff. You know, taking these tests, taking tests, you know, pass this test, get 50 cents more, pass this test, get 50 cents more. It's like, I think up to $2 more. So it was just too much pressure I didn't want to have to deal with. You know, because I knew if I didn't pass the test, you know, they're going to get rid of me. He had already told me that. So, you know, it just bothers me, you know, been bothering me for years because I basically turned this job down. Like I said, it wasn't because of the money. It wasn't because it could have been a better job. It's more because I feel like I, you know, let the man down, you know. You know, it's just hard for me to get off my mind. But the job I'm working at now, you know, I can't complain. You know, it's not a bad job. It is what it is. Can't say I don't like it. I pretty much like my job. Been there almost 13 years. Got a chance to drive the forklift. I drive that not every day, but drive that pretty often. But you know, got the chance to meet a few people, real cool people. Some of them are a-holes, you know. But got close with a couple of people. One of them, you know, female, you know, used to work there. Me and her real cool. You know, one of the guys that worked there, you know, me and him real cool, real close. You know, just the people that I actually be with, put it like that. But there's a lot of cool people there. You know, like I said, it's an essential business, so which make me an essential employee. So make us an essential employees. So I can't complain too much. Still in business. Business going pretty good. You know, dealing with this pandemic crap, you know, and I just hope everything goes well and, you know, they don't start all this mandate BS. But that's another topic for another day. But anyway, I just want to get some off my chest. You know, I feel like it's a confession video because this is what's been on my mind for a while, for a long time, really, about 13 years. You know, if I see that man, I mean, I wouldn't even know what he looked like, you know. I could walk past him right now, wouldn't even recognize him, but he seemed like he was a real cool guy, you know what I'm saying? Just real cool. But had I worked there, I probably wouldn't have got a chance to meet, you know, the couple of people that I'm real cool with, actually be with, you know. So thankful for that. But the job pays pretty good, you know. Well, didn't start off too well, but took me a long time, took me years to get where I'm at now to make pretty good money, decent, you know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But before I sign off, I just want to say it's more than just money. I can't just look at money because that's where I made my mistake at. I'm looking at this job pays more. So I went over here, not even knowing the situation. So, you know, I'd rather just, like I said, make less money and be less stressful and have less of a responsibility than to be making more money and get more stressed out and a bigger responsibility. Sometimes you have to look past that money because, you know, for me, I mean, I look at it could just take me years to get to where I want to be, like far as pay. You know, if it take me 10 years to get up to where I want to be comfortable, I'm just glad right now, I mean, I don't have no house payment, so I don't have to worry about that. So I can't complain too much, you know. The job I have, you know, it didn't start off good, but like I said, it took me years to get where I'm at now, so I can't complain, you know. Still going strong. But like I said, as far as stuff being on my mind, that's why I wanted to do this video. Just like a lot of stuff be on my mind, it's just what I go through, just a personal thing. A lot of people probably don't go through what I'm going through. I go through this. I've been going through this for years. Some things, like I said, I might say to a person, or some things I might do, or some things I should have done, that it pops up in my mind every now and then. It might stick with me for a few days and then I forget about it. And later on, it might come a few months later or even a few years later. And it just pops up in my mind every now and then. For an example, I'm going to give you. And this actually happened when I was involved with a female. I was actually going with this female. And I ran into this female. This actually a female had saw me when I was driving. She was with this other female. And I felt bad about it because I didn't know her personally, but I remember her from school, and I did know her name. But she asked me for a ride and stuff, so. And I'm like, I was pretty nervous because my girlfriend at the time lived right up across, lived down the street from where we was talking at. So she asked me for a ride, and I actually didn't give her a ride, so I feel bad about that, even to this day. This has been years ago. So, just that I had a girlfriend, and I didn't really tell her, you know, I don't know, it just kind of like caught me off guard, and like, I was a bit nervous about talking to her because I didn't know my girlfriend would be riding, or either her ex-boyfriend, because I know him too. And you know, this done happened to me before, so I guess this is probably why, because I actually had another old girlfriend before her, and I was messing with her, and this guy that I know, and she knew him, and this guy actually lied on me one day and told the female that I was involved with, my girlfriend or whatever, that I had a female in my car. He actually lied on me and told I had a female in my car. And so basically she cut the relationship off like that. So she believed him. So when I talked to her on the phone, she was pretty much like, yeah, he told me this. And I'm like, well, you believe him? You know? So she was like, no, because he lied all the time. But anyway, their relationship ended because this guy lied on me and said I had a female in my car. So I looked at that because if I, you know, gave her a ride, she was with this female. If I gave her a ride, I'm thinking, well, could be her ex-boyfriend, my old girlfriend, boyfriend, you know, ex-boyfriend, riding past and see me with a female in my car and go back and tell my girlfriend. So, you know, it could have been the same thing. And I know how she was about, you know, accusing me of looking at females. So, I mean, But that was the thing. There's just certain things like that, pops up in my mind every now and then. I think about it because I feel bad because I didn't give her a ride. So there was some other stuff with that too, but I just feel bad about it.